Hello, Internet.
Hello. I think we're at the same level now.
Ah, excellent.
Oh, good.
Like, do
Yeah.
you mean metaphorically?
We're,
Like,
oh, I
you
could never
know,
be at the same level
intellectually?
as you. No, I could never be
Well,
at
I
the
could
same
never be at
level.
the same level as you height-wise, so, um, there's symmetry in that.
Uh,
Yay!
how is everyone going? How are you going? I've already asked that question, but I'll ask again because we're on camera now.
We are. I'm doing very well. I'm doing very well. It's Saturday night in lovely Australia. Um, Yes, your hair looks more and more impressive every time I see it,
Oh
Alex.
yes, I don't cut it. I've decided I want to be a wizard.
You're looking very Hagrid-like.
Oh,
Actually, I think
good.
I said that last week.
Yeah.
Um, Maybe it's just more pronounced.
I will cut eventually. I will cut it eventually. Uh,
You're going to turn into you're going to look like one of those hobos. Wasn't Gowdy run over because somebody thought he was a hobo, and they obviously didn't care about killing a hobo?
yes,
Um,
beards come with a warning, which is people just will run over you, I guess.
I
I was,
remember actually.
you know what? I was on the bus just yesterday, and I thought, where's the crazy bearded guy on the bus? There's always a crazy bearded guy on the bus, and I realized, oh, it's me.
It's you. It's you. I remember, our mutual friend, whom I won't say his name, but I'm sure you know the guy I'm talking about. He's involved in theatre. He's small. Um, you know who I'm referring to?
Yes, I do know the person
Yeah,
you're
there we
referring
go.
to. He
I
is
was
a tiny gnome.
Yes, but we were both working on a play once, and I realised that he desperately needed to start taking more care of his appearance when I was waiting
Uh
outside the
oh.
theatre. And I was looking down the street and I thought, "Hey, look, a homeless man is coming towards me." And he got closer and closer, and it was him.
Yeah.
He was even carrying all of his belongings in shopping bags. That
Oh
was
dear.
why I thought he was a homeless guy, and his clothes didn't fit, and okay.
Well, at
So
least I will assure you that what you're seeing before you is a seasonal appearance, and I will go back to uh, my baby face eventually. I keep on saying that,
yes,
but meh, I don't.
we should properly introduce the show now that we've rambled on for a little bit.
Yeah,
For
I
those
don't
who
even
don't
know.
know,
We don't even have a.
we don't really have an introductory spiel, but we are Two Smart Arts with Steve and Alexander,
Yeah.
and
What do you think of that, by the way? Do you like the way
I
that's
like it.
written?
I
I
like
didn't.
it. I
I didn't
like
know
it
whether
very
to
much.
call you Steve or Stephen, so
Well,
then
I'll
I
answer to either. So
then I
you can be
included the
both.
and in there. You see, so that's clever.
I like it. I think it's very clever.
Yeah,
Um,
design.
so yes, basically we talk about um, ostensibly arts. Alex's main interest, as everyone will know, is visual arts. Mine is usually theatre. Um, but we also talk about pretty much anything which interests us, such as facial. Um,
Yeah, we do a lot of tangents, which a lot of the time can be can be quite interesting.
it's
Um,
true. Should we do the first tangent? You ready?
uh, I, you do the first tangent because it
Okay.
looks all the
First
things
tangent.
that you've written down seem a lot more interesting than the things that I've written down.
Oh, I don't know, Alex. The first tangent is, what beer is Stephen drinking?
Oh yeah, I forgot. We actually do have a format.
We do.
I keep
We
on
do.
forgetting.
We have a format.
Yes.
And
What beer is that, Steve?
today's beer is the Prancing Pony Brewery, obviously a Hobbit reference.
I
Uh,
understood that reference.
there you are. Black Ale. And according to the tasting notes that I was provided with on this beer collection, the pony said, "I want a black imperial." One would think this commences some sort of kidnapping expedition, but no. They add truckloads of the finest dehusked roasted malts and late flavoring hops. The result is this super smooth, full-bodied black ale displaying dark chocolate, coffee, licorice, caramel, nutty, and floral hop flavors.
Is this a
This
beer
pint.
or is it a gift basket?
Well, this is yes, it's true. It sounds like a gift basket in a beer. It's 1.6 standard drinks. Where's the
Which,
percentage on this? Which is quite a lot, because it's not a big beer. Um,
yeah, it's not a Tawley, is it?
no, it's not. It's not a Tawley. 6%. There we go. 6% alcohol.
Okay, so
So
it's
here we go.
about 2% higher than the average beer.
It's true. I do just want to embrace this description just for a moment.
That was a bit
Longer.
poetic, I will say. Hello,
It was
BSW,
the
by the way.
Hey, BSW, how you going? Morning. It's not even 8 a.m. It is well past 8 a.m. Thank you very much. It's like 10:30 at night where I am.
Yes, it's an
And
international podcast, this.
yes. So yes, but I would just like to point out, if I said, Alex, I've baked you a pie, and you said, what's in it? And I said, it has chocolate, coffee, licorice, caramel, nutty, floral hops.
The first thing would be, did your child make that for you? Because that sounds like something that a kid would make. All of those sound fantastic individually.
Yes.
Let's put it together in a pie.
Yeah, floral wheat. It just goes, that is the weirdest thing. BSW, don't toy with my heart like that. You know how sensitive I am to your teasing. Yes. So, but all right, enough of this description. Shall we actually drink the thing and see what
Yeah,
it's like?
drink this this nutty, coffee-y, chocolatey, florally.
Have
beer.
I have a bottle opener,
Oh,
which is very funky. It was purchased from an architectural shop in Sweden, apparently. Looks very interesting, and it's not very useful. Which I think is
really?
somehow
So it does not open bottles at all?
it does, just not very well.
Ah.
So yes, all right. I'm going to try the Prancing Pony Black Ale. Oh, that's interesting. That tastes very
Does it taste like all of those things as it's described?
chocolate, coffee, licorice, caramel, nutty, floral, hop.
It looks, by the expression on your face, it sounds like, man, they nailed it.
No, it's okay. It's
all right.
Hang
on. Shall we do like the thing that we did last week?
What was
where
that?
we go right on the scale of
Oh,
flowers, licorice, coffee, chocolate, nuts. I think it was also in there.
Nutty.
Yeah.
Yes.
To like a 4x beer.
Yes.
Beer being 1
standard,
and all those flavors being 10. Where do you put this?
I put it like a 6.5, maybe.
Really?
6.5, 7.
That's surprising. Okay, tell me more.
Well, oh no. Okay, sorry. Hang on. I misinterpreted what you were saying. No, it's more like a 4. I suppose in that.
Okay.
If I was going to rate this beer out of 10, I'd say like it's 6.5. It's very nice. It's just a stout. A coffee style stout. So, yeah. But yes, at the end of the day, it's a stout. They're very similar.
Yeah.
Although I did once have an oatmeal stout, which I recommend if anyone is ever.
Have you ever tried a beer and it tastes exactly the way it's described?
4X tastes like beer.
4X tastes like beer. Hear that, everyone? 4X is the most honest beer you can get.
It is. It's pretty good. Actually, I quite like 4X. When I finish, I'll have to get some more at some stage. But I quite like Nathan Dwill's comment there, and yes, that's why I mentioned the bottle opener. It's. I think we all feel like this bottle opener.
Oh, we all
Secret
feel
of
like
life.
that shitty bottle opener one day. You have one purpose and you don't do it well.
I do a thing, just not very well. Um,
I like the beginning of this. Just talking about beer for a while because
yes,
we're
indeed,
both honest about this. Just beer tastes like beer,
it
but
does.
we
It
we
does.
we try. You try to find new exciting beers that kind of are flavored in a different way.
It's true. It's yeah, it's fun. I imagine if you had a 6 pack of it, you'd be well. I imagine you'd be very hammered by about the third one. But by about the third one, you might be going, "Why did I spend this much money on this kind of beer?" But anyway, um, what have we got on the list today, Alex? I've meandered about my beer. What should we talk about first?
uh, well, I think well a bit of an anecdote. I have been finally been editing our shows.
Oh,
Yes, and my God, we only got up. I only got up to episode 2 because I thought that episode 1 had been lost, and I had called that one episode 1. And then I discovered episode 1, and then I went back and I found it and I changed it. So it still isn't
yeah,
100% finished.
editing.
Blah blah blah. It's still being edited, and I'm discovering quite a few things.
Uh huh.
First of all, this reminds me so much of my days in the theatre,
Yeah.
which you did a lot more of, where we gather around and analyze what we did to try and improve ourselves. Everyone should do this, by the way. Everyone should just have a look at what they're doing to possibly try and make themselves better. I'm looking at you, Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp doesn't watch his stuff. That's why he's the same in every
Really?
single movie. Anyway,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
his and I will say I hope I improve. I hope that the Alexander that I'm watching right now on these edited shows improves, because I tend to talk over you a lot. Either that's just because I'm rude or because I can't hear you that well through this plug here, or because
Or
of
ultimately, it's the only way you can get a word in edgewise. I think
that's
that's a
that's not true. That's not true. That and I tend to say a lot. So I will try to construct a sentence in my head first and then produce it as we talk. And you said to me also that you touch your face a lot, which I do not see. I
oh.
stroke my beard a lot, but I haven't seen you touch your face. But anyway, that's what I have been doing.
Nathan Duel there has asked a clarification
Uh-oh.
question. Oh, comment. Post-mortem. You mean a post-mortem analysis of your own work? That's what you're talking about when you say, doing an analysis of, after the event about how you're going.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Yes, there you are. I suppose you could apply the same concept to many things, but if you apply it to too much, you'll turn yourself into a nervous wreck.
Well, that's true, but it is always good to analyze yourself to try and
everything in moderation. I don't really want to every time I go somewhere go, is that the best way I can ride a bus that I possibly can? I just walk down the street. Did I do it with sufficient purpose?
Sometimes you just need to enjoy the ride.
So, speaking about things we should talk about next week.
Yes, Occupy White Walls. Oh my God!
White. Yeah, is it? Yeah, I haven't tried it yet. But
Neither
I'm
have
really
I. Now,
keen.
I'm assuming you've actually looked into this more than I have, because I haven't looked into it at all. I just went, oh my God. The basic gist is you run a this is a computer game, by the way, guys. Steve found a computer game where you manage an art gallery. And I went...
Not quite. What it actually is is I think it's a bit more like Minecraft in that what you do, and I haven't played it yet, is that I think it's called Occupy White Walls or Occupy Space. We should check which one that is. Um, but you actually make the artwork for the gallery, so it's a massively multiplayer game, like World of Warcraft or what have you. Except instead of slaying dragons, you make artworks for the art gallery,
That sounds
and you
amazing. So do
wander
you make
around.
artwork in the game?
Yes, yes.
Wow.
So you actually you make the artwork and put it up. So and then you wander around and look at basically all the artworks that everyone's put up. So when I say it's an art gallery on the net, I don't mean like Roller Coaster Tycoon or something. I mean it's an actual art gallery. You walk
That is
around and
brilliant.
see.
There's a
So
lot of sandbox games that are similar to this, but this is directly what I want. I mean, Sims has a portion of the game where you can construct this if you so wish, but this is the first time that I've immediately thought that's the entire concept of the game. So I'm looking forward to this. I did look into
yes,
curatorship. I did look into being a full-time artist. So I'm definitely gonna check this out.
I'm going to paste the link into the chat.
Thank you. Is it on
That's
Steam?
it is on Steam, but here you
Is
go.
it for
Occupy
free?
White Walls. Right now, it's an alpha, which is another way of saying it.
It is another way of saying it's
It
shit.
is. It's free because it's free because it's still being made.
Yep.
But I'm told by a reliable source that it is sufficiently advanced to actually enjoy. So that's something else we should try out.
A lot of
Um,
alpha games are really, really good. So I will
True.
check
Well,
that out
there's a lot of them that
probably
are really bad.
today as well. That would be nice.
Mm.
Nice.
There you go. Tell me if it was accurately described to me.
Okay, I will. I will check that out. Okay, I want to right separate subject now because there's only so far we can talk about a game that we haven't played.
Yes,
Although we can talk about it a lot.
We'll probably download it and find out it's actually Space Invaders, and I've just been the victim of an elaborate prank. But
here's the
yes,
thing:
sorry.
I really want to update this computer before we've completely finished this subject. I really want to update this computer or just replace it entirely because I cannot stream computer games on here. And I would like to because there's a lot of really, really classy established computer games out there that I really want to share with everybody. What you've showed me is an example, and
that
I
could
want
be
to
an
check that out.
interesting one.
I also want to do a whole bunch of non-classy games as well, but my computer is terrible, so I can't do that. Oh well. I need to get more RAM just to make it run normally at the moment, which is annoying. I brought over my work computer. Here's my work computer right here. Just so I can edit our videos, Steve.
That's cool.
This computer here can't even edit videos anymore. I don't know why. I'm getting new RAM to say, "Oi, God, for God's sake, do your bloody job." My work computer is a Mac. It's got a processor that is 6 or 7 years old. It's got 8 gigabytes worth of RAM, and it runs like a dream.
Wow.
I know.
Okay. Unexpected.
That is unexpected.
Cool. All right.
Macs are really good. Turns out.
Certainly can be. This is true. Although
I was not aware that. I always thought PCs are good because you can update them and stuff. Now I'm realizing the reason why you would possibly want to update them is because they just fall apart, which is what's happening now. So I'm going to have to double my RAM just to the point where it's double my work computer just so it can be normal. And I'm not happy. I'm not a happy camper about this, but as you
Understandable.
can see, we're online now. So everything's fine
It's true. And I
right
think my
now.
internet connection is a lot better now, so I don't seem to be glitching.
Yes, I'm very happy about that as well. A lot of the time, Steve, you do come in and out. Is that I actually, yeah, before I actually go on to the first main subject, Steve,
Mm.
what's the deal with the internet connection at your place? It's improved recently because of something that's happened in the council or something?
Oh, no, not really. It's just improved because after many hours of arguing on the phone, I finally got the telecommunications company to properly turn our internet. That's all.
Right.
Um, yeah, they charged us an obscene amount of money to do it, and I spent hours and hours on the phone. Oh my god, malfunction junction is spectacular. But yeah, there we go.
Oh, great.
A free
Well,
university issued iPad. You know, yeah, if I weren't a gamer, I think I'd just use an iPad because it really does do, apart from the games, 90% of what I need. At one stage, I actually used it for most of my work because I bought a keyboard that went with it, and I
nice.
could type emails and edit Word documents, which really, for a guy like me, is normally all you need. But
I'd like one of those. Just hang out
yeah,
outside downstairs and also use it as a people also use their iPad as the remote control for the TV these days. And I say,
yes,
that sounds pretty good. I'll do that.
it's fun. It's fun. Oh, that's right.
I want to watch Two Smart Arts on my couch.
Why not? Why not? I just realised actually, occasionally I need to do fancy things, which is why.
Um,
Uh-huh.
a few weeks ago, uh, a significant man in the art community died recently. A big artist. When
Ah,
I say
yes.
big, I don't mean that his works were insanely famous, but he kind of was. He was a big figure, and his name was Robert Ryman. And
Hmm.
you probably don't know his name, but you, Steve, probably know his the his work because his work was the work that was uh, used as an inspiration for a play called Art. Are
Oh,
you familiar with that one?
I'm not familiar with that one. I'm going to look up the play called Art.
Yeah, it was just called Art.
Art
And
play.
it was a simple title because it was based around a simple painting.
1994.
Hmm.
Oh, written in French comedy. So modern. Okay. All right.
It was,
Ran in the
I don't know if
19.
you're looking at the same thing, but I'm going to assume you are. It's a play about someone who bought uh, not
Says
specifically a Ryman painting, but one that looks very much like him. He
yeah.
was famous for doing white paintings. I'm going to repeat that. He was one to construct just white paintings, white paint on
Right.
canvas, completely square, almost all of them
Mm.
being the same size as well. And he started doing them in the 50s, and they found a home. They found a piece of relevance in art community in the 60s when minimalism came along. So
Right.
yeah, so he found his little niche after 10 years or so. But he started painting them in the 50s. Um,
Okay.
and the way he described his work, if I was to be an art teacher for a few minutes,
Mm.
the way he described his work was to say this representation is an illusion, uh, which it is. You know, it's a representation of a thing. But my paintings, I want them to be a thing in themselves. So just a big square. What does this big painting of a big square painting represent? It doesn't represent anything. It's just a big square with paint on it, and
No,
that's
it's
what it's
Dewey.
been analyzed in and of itself.
Nathan Dewell, actually, is it Dewell? Sorry.
Hmm.
Nathan Dewell just asked you to clarify when you say white paintings, do you mean just a
As in
canvas
a
painted white? Can you bring up
canvas.
one of his works, like
Uh,
on the screen?
I can. Hang on a second.
Because I think
I'll
I
do
saw
this.
one.
Hang on. Uh,
You're just going to bring up a white screen,
yeah,
aren't you?
I'll just get rid of the logo. There it is. Yeah.
You are a
So
very
this is a
sneaky
Ryman.
man.
That's
Okay.
that is unfair. That is an unfair thing I just did because, yeah, as I said, he doesn't paint. He doesn't illustrate white squares. He just paints the squares and just puts it. You you pay more attention to how it's painted and the construction of the paint and rather than trying to look at what it is because he hasn't painted anything, you know.
I don't. Okay, all right. I'm going to do the obvious thing here.
I
Explain. If somebody puts white paint on a white canvas,
Yep.
what are you actually looking at? I mean, what are you're just
Good question. Well,
appreciate it. You're just appreciating the unusual pattern of paint on canvas and the
kind
texture
of,
of the
yes,
paint.
because it isn't just paint. I mean, it is a collection of how the paint is applied. Uh, Hang on, let me try.
So you're looking at like the texture of the paint on the canvas and admiring, I suppose, the different
Here we are.
kinds
Here
of
we are.
brush strokes. Is that it?
Let me actually be a producer here and
I want to
show
be.
my. I want to be a producer. There we go. And yeah, so as you can actually, as you cannot see because
I'll come up for it.
there
Oh, I
we
see.
go.
So it's.
Okay, so there's an example of one of his works, and yes, all it is a white canvas. So he hasn't actually illustrated anything. He hasn't constructed an
Right.
illusion of something else.
But it's
He,
not fair to say that it's just blank.
yeah,
Like
it's not fair
he's
to say that it's just
created a.
blank. It's not fair to say
Yeah,
that
okay.
he's an interior decorator that has just painted a wall.
Yeah,
So your
okay.
focus, instead of focusing on what he has illustrated, you're concentrating on the actual bit, which is why he doesn't. He never framed his work, or he just put it directly onto the wall, and there it was. And you know, he found a little niche in the minimalist world,
Movement.
and his work inspired uh, the play Art, as I described. I thought you would know it. I thought that was.
No, look, there's a lot of theatre,
There's a
obviously.
lot of theatre out there, Alex.
There is. I wasn't familiar with that one. I've read the plot synopsis. Actually, I can pretty much already figure out what kind of play it is.
Cool.
I get it. So yeah, I mean, it opened on.
He
Um,
opened up a lot of things,
so
and
the play is apparently, yeah, the play is just two friends arguing over.
yeah,
One
that's
of them
basically it.
bought one of his works. Um, okay, well, all right. So he just died. I don't really. I sup- I want to say, and I guess because it's true, I don't really like minimalism.
And that's
Like,
understandable.
I don't find it. I did see a play called Red, which was about
Oh yeah,
Roscoe.
that's the sister play that was done. I think it was written by the same person.
Ah, I'd believe that.
Yeah, but
Um,
instead of
it's not
being
very
based
good.
upon Robert Raymond, it's based upon Mark Rothko.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't like it. It got a standing ovation, but I my wife fell asleep and then
Oh
she woke
no!
up, felt really horrible, and turned to me to apologize, and I'd fallen asleep. So uh, it felt less like a play and more like a walking lecture about art theory. And
I
I
would
felt
probably
like the
fall
only
asleep as well, honestly.
well, yeah, I felt like the only reason it got a standing ovation was because, and this actually feeds into one of the other topics I have there, was less because it was a good play and more because people had gone to see the show because they liked art theory, and you don't
Sure.
normally see plays about that. So, all right.
So I'm
So
glad
we
I'm
were
glad I
talking.
finally talked about that. Just a bit. I don't have strong opinions, but I just wanted to point out Ryman because he was big.
There you go. Well, all these things happen. Um, so yes, I was talking about this play that I saw Red, which I found very dull,
Yes.
increasingly dull, as was commented. Yes, it was. I have a high threshold for dullness, and no. Um, and this is my comment. Sometimes because people like I'm into, and everyone does it. I'm into Rothko. See a play about Rothko or a film about Rothko, it makes me like it a whole lot more. Um, and so I want to talk about this award ceremony, which happened in my town a little while ago.
Ah, right. Okay.
Yes, it's
So
amusing.
you went to an
Okay,
award ceremony. What was the award
I
ceremony
didn't.
for? Oh, you didn't.
It's for local theatre. I didn't go. I would like to have been to, but the thing I find amusing about it is okay. So my town has its own version of the Oscars, if you will. Who wants to talk about the Oscars? Let's talk about my little theatre awards. Um, and it's basically they all get together and they vote on and they hand out awards for best play and best supporting actor and blah 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 blah. But the thing I find amusing about it is that is it good to have these awards or is it bad? Because the good thing is that, and let's not forget, this is why the Oscars exist. It adds status and newsworthiness to the industry.
All
So,
right.
you
So,
lift up the industry.
well, it's
Yeah,
something to put on your CV, right?
it is. But it also, encourages, from an industry perspective, encouraging higher work and, it gets everybody talking about your industry and these things are awesome and hey, look at this play or look at this film. The Oscars are fantastic marketing, not just for the individual films being released, but sorry, I just saw the comment about watching this play to fix your sleeping pattern, unless you like Rothko, in which case you'll think it's amazing. um, so and the Oscars are very effective in raising the profile of Hollywood and watching films. Um, and so the local theatre awards are very good at that. But what they're very bad at is that they're extremely prone to awarding things based on what they think is cool right now and who they think is cool right
Right.
now.
So
And
it's more of a concept upon the zeitgeist more than an actual
yeah,
figuring out whether something's good.
they would never agree with me on that, of course. They would say, no, 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 it's all about what is good. But it was like, yeah, but yet you always give, the same kind of awards, the same sort of players. And I've never forgotten one moment for me. Well, there's a few moments that absolutely encapsulated this. They almost never give awards to, um, to the big theatre companies in town. Very, very rarely. They never think that their shows are snuff. It's always only the little independent one. And so we wind up with these weird situations where they give best play in our little town to some independent production, and yet the main show gets nominated for best play in Australasia. For the Australian equivalent of the Tonys, actually, as happened. and they're sort of going, you didn't even nominate. It's sort of, you didn't even
Right.
nominate this show, despite the fact that it's been nominated for way, way, way bigger awards than you guys.
Well,
Um,
I guess
the last example I'll give for this, and
go
actually
on.
then we can pick up this, is that the one time I went along, they handed out these lifetime achievement awards, right? For lifetime achievement to the local theatre scene, and they gave one to a famous playwright called Michael Gow.
Mm.
Michael Gow he's a big deal in Australian theatre. He's written some top-notch plays. He's a top-notch director. He's absolute top of the tree. And they gave out 2 lifetime awards. And they gave one to Michael Gow because he was ending being the director of the big name theatre company, and they gave one to a 27-year-old woman who'd done 3 plays.
Right. Okay. And what's the award called again?
These awards, they're called the Matildas, the Matilda
Right. Okay.
Awards. And it was just amusing. I'm standing there watching, and the other woman, like, her work was great, but it's just, there's Michael Gow, who's retiring at the age of 70,
Yeah.
having achieved every single possible success that an Australian playwright can. Here's that award. And you, 27 years old, you're so hot right now, in the sense of your work is so hot right now, you can both be given equal awards and stand next to each other on the podium.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it going, this is...
What is the point of this? Why are we doing this?
Well, I was just looking at it going, that's actually kind of insulting.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to play devil's advocate, which is what
Yes,
I
well,
think, which is I think
comments
why
that
you're
I
talking
haven't.
to me.
Yeah, true. Fair enough.
I don't actually no. I'm just going to ask a question. Is the Matilda the equivalent of a lifetime achievement award?
No.
No. Well, that is
No, what they have is they have a Matilda's award that they hand out in a range of categories. And one was a special lifetime achievement award,
yeah.
which they gave to one of Australia's top playwrights because he'd lived in Brisbane, where I live, lived in Brisbane for like 20 years, and he was retiring. There you go, and you've done 3 cool plays. You're 27. You take this. Just okay. That is what is wrong with this awards ceremony. If you're going to just cut it's some if you're just gonna pretend that nothing mainstream is good, just pretend nothing. Just cut them out. Then just say, okay, we don't award anyone who's putting in a play that's fully funded for some reason. Okay, fine, but at least then you're not putting Michael Gow next to
I
someone
understand. It's in the Oscars. There is a short film collection, right?
Yeah, there is. But a better analogy would be because it's the length of plays, and there's a couple of comments there actually sort of delve into this as well. It's not the length of the players; it's the size of the budget.
Yeah.
So the Oscars don't think has a category for budgets under 100 million or whatever.
I don't think there's ever going to be something that directly says, and now the award for best play with budget under $100.
Yeah, but
that's never going to happen. So this is the best we've got, I guess.
Yeah, it's de facto what they're doing, but you see, it makes it makes them look ridiculous.
Yeah.
When they don't acknowledge players that are obviously of an extremely high caliber. And for this sort of stuff, so it's sort of, we're not going to acknowledge internationally famous playwrights who reside in this town because this is just a small one, except when we do acknowledge them, but we do it at the same time that we acknowledge other people who are just not in their league at all.
I know. And this has gotten under your skin quite a bit because
it gets under my skin every time it comes around. But the thing is, what? I love the award ceremony. It's very fun. And, like, I've had friends of mine who've won awards in it, and it means a lot to them, and I can understand why. But
I won an
it's just
award. It was a tiny award, but it was an award, and you were there.
well, oh, was that the for one of the players of the Light Globe Award?
It was at Queensland University.
Yes,
You were
yes, there you
there,
go.
and I won. It was there was only two plays, but that there were two plays that were nominated, but I won.
You did, and it was well deserved. It was well
Yes,
deserved. So
between
yes, all
those
right.
two
Let's pick
plays.
up some of these. Let's pick
Yes,
up
there's a
some of
lot of
these
questions here,
comments.
so let's ask them.
Well,
Let's ask. Hang on,
moving back. Sorry,
Nathan.
I was going to
Nathan
say.
asked a question
Okay,
quite a while ago, which was, how come awards for industries are not commonplace and televised, uh, or televised and make a big deal
it's a
of?
good question. I'm going to just hazard a guess. I don't know what your theory is, Alex, but I'm going
Yeah.
to hazard a guess at particularly now, films are of interest. You know, they're a common cultural touchstone. Everybody knows big stars. Like if there was, you know, there are, for example, awards for lawyers.
Ah,
Um,
yes, the lawyer
you know,
awards.
yeah, there are lawyer awards, you know, lawyer of the year, sort of, but like, who cares unless you're in the industry because you know, like you can read out all the nominees, but they won't mean anything to you, and whoever wins will go, okay, goody. But you know, but if they're films, you may have seen them, you may have some interest, and also don't forget that Hollywood is designed to, well, like its whole industry is about publicity. So it makes sense that they would be very good at publicizing their night of nights. Um,
Yeah, I
so
understand.
you know, it's just, you know, marketing push. I think they'd be very very good at marketing it, and they've got a more marketable product. Um,
I would
because
just
people may have an opinion on it.
I just wanted to look this up,
Mm.
because I wasn't sure, and yeah, the Turner Prize is actually televised.
Oh,
So, I've never watched it live. I've never looked. I just go, oh yeah, the Turner Prize is on. Let's find out what the winner is, and I never actually watched the show because yeah. But
well,
that's
the Oscars also go to a lot of effort to make the night itself a big event. So there's all the lead up as to who's invited and what they're
yes.
wearing and who's with who and you know, oh my gosh, and this person got snubbed and Spike Lee stormed out or tried to storm out at this point and da 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 da. Um, yeah.
Oh, hang on.
So
Nathan's just mentioned, the gaming industry is big, if not bigger than the movie industry, and you have not seen any ceremonies for gaming. There are ceremonies for gaming, they're just not televised. I'm quite sure
but
they're
his
shown.
question is why? Why do we care?
Why do we care?
Uh,
Right. Well, I
why do
think,
okay, not we? Why are people more likely to care about the Oscars? Why does my local newspapers have the Oscars but not any of the gaming?
well, it's just a matter of rapport rather than money or how big the industry is or how important it is. It's just a matter of rapport. Movies have been doing award ceremonies for 75 years or 80 years, whatever.
Yeah,
It's been a
that's
long
true.
time. So that has been established for quite a while. Gaming has received televised or at least streamed award shows for, I don't know, 10 years at the
Not long.
most.
Yeah, 10 years at the
So
most.
it's not a matter of whether something's better. It's just about the rapport. That's all. Things will change, of course. I know things will change. It will be on television eventually,
Here's
but
the
no
other
one will
thing.
care because
Yeah,
television's on
look
its way
now.
out anyway.
Oh, look, I'll actually go one further, and as you know, as I always say, I'm a mad keen gamer myself, but I think that while gaming may be, yeah, obviously there's Charlie's Dragon commenting about tradition. I think so, and it's well, which is just what you said, Alex, and also there's the drama of who's going, and it's so much more glamorous in that. Like, put it this way: there's a big Australian football awards called the Brownlow, and I know a whole lot of women who watch the Brownlow Awards. They don't know a thing about football. They care about the dresses, right? They care about and they it, and even if they're just basically saying that, even if they're just marveling that somebody would turn up, I can't believe she's wearing that sort of thing.
Oh,
But it's
I love
interesting.
those. I love those arguments. I love those arguments
Yeah,
about nothing. It's beautiful. Mwah.
yeah, but it also means that, like, I cannot imagine people getting excited about, oh, what's the sort of the dresses. There's no female angle, I suppose, on the gaming awards. And also, I was going to say
Yet.
is that while gaming may be dollar-wise just as big as Hollywood, I don't think, and I'm just making the stat up off the top of my head, so I could be wrong, but I don't think it has the same level of, and what I'll call, cultural penetration,
Mm-hmm.
which is, I think that gaming has the people who care about games, probably a very small portion of the population. Lots of people may play them, but they're a small portion of the population. And I will bet that 100% of the people who game also watch films.
Yep.
So I just think that the Oscars are more likely to reach.
A good portion of people play computer games. Everyone watches movies.
Yeah, that's basically it. So it's like comparing, I suppose, 30% of the population who are diehard fans to like 90% of the population. But look, maybe it will change.
Oh yeah, things are changing. Things are changing all the time. So it's still
Yeah,
a big industry, and people still do watch gaming awards. Was Here's a question: was the theater awards that you went the Matilda awards that you went to, uh,
yeah,
was that streamed or broadcast at all?
no,
Not at
no.
all.
But it's no, not at all. But it was, talked about a great deal,
Right.
with the community, and of course, there's lots of. Oh, they had some video footage of stuff on Facebook and this sort of thing. So but it's a small artistic community, so it doesn't need to be streamed.
That's a.
We all know what happened.
It doesn't need to be streamed. I beg to differ. I think it should have been streamed at least once because everything should be streamed. But that's just me.
It would be fun. It would be fun, actually. I would watch the stream.
Right.
I've never. Yeah. Anyway, it's so that was the Matilda Award.
That was the Matilda Awards. I want to.
Yeah.
You did also point out 60% is the worst point for a video game. What?
Oh!
What?
Yeah. All right. This is what I was talking about when I wrote this. As we're talking about lots of video games at the moment.
I think okay. Yeah.
So what I was going to comment on this is, all right. So I have a gaming blog, which I haven't actually written much on.
A gaming blog. Right. Okay.
Blog, yes. And I'm also fairly active on Twitter, where I talk about where I'm up to with my gaming, and I
Cool.
sort of,
and just
tweet
before we
pictures
go
out.
on, it's your gaming blog is Mr. Backlog.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Yeah, there's a picture of games. Yes, that's why.
See, I'm a good producer sometimes.
Oh gosh, you're clever. So yeah, but I haven't blogged anything for a little bit. I also contribute to review sites, and I was trying to figure out why I haven't written anything about games for a bit, and I've realised it's because I am 60% through 3 different games. They're Eye of the Beholder 2, Darkest Dungeon, and Divine Divinity. And it's the worst point in so many games because it's just, I'm too far in to quit. I've invested too much time to stop. And I'm not really close to being finished yet.
Right.
So To be
So
honest, all of the games kind of feel like a little bit of a slog at that point. Sort of like, all right, I've seen the mechanic you've got. You seem to have developed it as far as you're going to develop it.
yeah, you've got the gist as to
Can
what
we
this game's
be
about,
finished
but
now?
you
Yeah.
absolutely need to finish it.
And yeah, I just feel like I'm going to be now in circles, 35% of the game
Right.
runtime
It makes the way you've
because
described that, it makes me think, how do people write game reviews? I mean that's a lot of effort to put in. A lot of,
when you say how do people write them, what do you mean?
well, games
Why do
usually
people write?
take 10 to up to 50 hours to complete sometimes.
Yeah,
It's a big thing, unlike
yeah,
other forms of media like movies where you can just get through it quite quickly, books where you finished it in 1 or 2 days. And you've reached a point where you just, it feels like a slog to get through right now, and I'm left going, yeah, how can, it's must be, it's one of those, it's one of those jobs where a lot of people dream about because they see, Yahtzee on YouTube going, that looks amazing, I want to do that, but it's a lot of effort. and
yeah.
and
I
you are
think it
someone who
is.
who wants to do computer game uh, reviews, can't really do it because you're in a position where, I can't, I just can't do it.
It's just, well,
I
I
mean,
suppose
what's the point? It's
there's a number of different ways you can do it. See, if I was being paid to do it, um, for starters, and like you mentioned Yahtzee, he does this where he'll be reviewing it and he goes, and then I got halfway through the game and I just couldn't be bothered anymore. It was boring me out of my brain, so I turned it off. And that's part of the review.
right.
Um, and of course he's got a very as most, as all I imagine professional reviewers do, they've got strict schedules they need to keep. And sometimes I think they do things where, because I've heard Yahtzee talk about this sort of stuff, where he goes, "All right, I'm reviewing Final Fantasy 15. This game takes like 200 hours. I can't do that, so I'm just going to spend one weekend on it. Probably translates to 16-hour game. Or he said 20 hours of game time, and then people say, "Oh, well, you barely finished the tutorial." Um, but you can review what you do based on what you see, is what I think is the answer to that. And to be honest, with a lot of games, I think you probably don't need to play them all if you just want to review them, because the mechanics are set out. Like nothing's going to change. I'm playing Darkest Dungeon. I'm 60% of the way through it. The mechanics are pretty damn clear. I know, like there's no great twists which are going to happen. If you were playing Mario Brothers, like, just because you only got through to World 5 instead of World 8, you know, it's not going to change that
You've got
much.
you've got the gist. I know what's going to
Yeah,
happen now. Let's just write a review. Uh, oh,
yeah.
Nathan says he technically doesn't review it. He gets paid to rip games to shreds. He's more of a satirical critic.
I know what you mean, but to be honest, um, I've found his reviews, whatever you call them, I've found his pieces often very insightful. Um, as to the strengths or issues with a game. Like he tends, I've found that his commentary tends to be frank, pretty good criticism. Sometimes it isn't. Sometimes he's just
Yeah,
ripping on
we
stuff, doing
did
the
we did
angry
make
video game.
a comment upon reviewing games and stuff, and there's a very there's a very fine chance that if you're not careful, you will just turn into the angry video game nerd who
Yeah, you
is
see,
a character. He doesn't actually want to review things
yeah,
directly, uh,
that's right. Yeah,
and
and I
all it
don't
is
think
just
So
constructive ways to just say fuck, which is fine. Feel free to do that. I'm not going to stop you, but it's you're not doing a review anymore.
yeah, personally, I found, and I acknowledge what Nathan Gill is saying there, but I'm going to respectfully disagree. Or well, let me retake that. Aha.
Love
See you,
you too,
BSW. Thank
love you too,
love you.
BSW.
Yes, but we've talked an awful lot of gaming in this. I hope that bored you, BSW.
No, no, she's a variety streamer. She does a whole heap of things, including gaming.
Oh,
So
okay. There we go. So yeah, what I was going to say was that um, while he does nitpick games for comedy and satire, yes, that is absolutely what he does. Yes, that is his shtick. But at the same time, he makes genuinely interesting criticisms. And so, for example, I remember one of the games, and I remembered this line because I've actually thought about it for films. Yeah, because I thought it applied. Is he said, okay, this game has two characters, a male and a female. One of them is very stealthy, and the other is very strong. If you want to guess which is which, just imagine you're the laziest writer in the world.
yeah,
And
and that's
yes, it's satirical, but it's a really good point.
yeah,
It's he's saying this is just lazy writing. You've just taken the most obvious answer. Wouldn't it be far more interesting if you flipped it or just did something different, not so hackneyed? Um, so I found that a really biting and insightful criticism. And he often makes stuff like that. And yes, he's exaggerating for comedic effect, but I don't feel that that means that he is the angry video game nerd who is not a reviewer at all. He really makes no critical comments. It's amusing to watch rip games in an exaggerated format. Um, anyway, um,
there you go, guys.
so yes, video game criticism. Wow, we didn't have that on the list.
Yeah, we did.
Um,
We had that on the list. You were talking about the fact that 60% is a terrible position for you to have, uh, because you
yeah,
want to talk about this
ah,
game, and it's kind of hard because it's now a slog, and then
it's a slog. I was going, well, on a related point, and I say this over and again, and to be honest, very few gamers agree with me, but I think I think there's a lot of talk about games are too short or people can play this game is bad value because it was 10 hours, not 15 hours, or it was only 5 hours, and I wanted 20 hours. And I think the biggest problem with gaming these days, and probably for a long time, is that they are padded. They are too long, not that they are too short. I'm a busy man. I've got the money. I don't care. I will pay twice as much for a game that's half the length. I don't buy my books based on how long they are. I don't go, you know what? I'm going to read Hamlet instead of Macbeth because it's better value. Like, that's ridiculous. It's no one does that. But then for some reason, when it comes to a video game, we're going, oh, this game is 30 hours. Yes, there's 25 hours of diddling about doing the same thing over and over again, but it's better value. It says, no, 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 no. It's better value if you cut 25 hours of shit out of it and then give me the same experience in 5 hours.
well,
That's better value.
it depends on what your media you buy for. I mean, if you buy media, by the way, I realized that wasn't a sentence. Let me try to phrase it.
Yes.
It depends on what you buy the media for. If you
Yeah,
want
that's true.
to get a book for a long plane ride, you're not going to just grab a leaflet or a magazine or a Goosebumps novel.
Mm.
You're going to get you're going to try and pick up one of the big books. There's a huge book right now that I really want to get through, which is Seven Eves, and I do not go on public transport anymore. Well, I do, but it's very short. It's in very short Uh,
I was about to say, did you get banned? Is that the?
no.
It's the
It's
beard, isn't it?
It's the beard says no. You don't go on public transport anymore.
You're also not allowed near primary schools.
Oh man, that was a Valentine's Day. That was interesting.
Yes.
But yeah, I sometimes I genuinely do judge media by the length. I can't help it because sometimes you do need to do that.
Fair enough.
All I'm doing is being the devil's advocate here. I have no real real analyzation. You raise a good point because I remember going to lectures about minimalism, and not unlike the computer games that we've been talking about, after watching the lecture for about 10 minutes, I got the gist. It's minimalism. That's kind of the point. I don't really want to I spoke about minimalism today, okay? And I think
Yeah.
everyone does get the point, and I didn't talk about it longer than I needed to. But I've gone to lectures where it goes for an hour. I think I'm left. I remember being in art college, just trying to take notes, and I had no more notes to take. I went, yeah. What else am I going to do? And I started just drawing spirals in my notebook. Not And I've never become bored before, but I did then because, I've got nothing else to say. Maybe you could do a very short review upon the games that you're playing. Do you want to do
I
that?
could, but I prefer play. I'm completionist. I'm going to
You're a
finish the game
completionist, yeah.
because, and apparently, I hate myself. So
And, well, that's always a common WordPress. Cool. I think
yeah.
we're wrapping up now, I think.
Yes. I guess we are wrapping up. Yes, it's been a little while.
So I want to, let's end by doing a terrible anecdote.
Ah,
And we're
please.
good at
You sound
terrible
like you have
anecdotes.
one lined up.
Did I tell you about my experience on the bus? Or did I?
Is this another Alex exposes himself to the public story? Because
Oh, no, this isn't a Alex exposes himself to the public story. It was just I get frustrated. This is a moment where I go, I'm turning into an old man. I really am, because I was on the bus and I was just thinking, God, why won't everybody shut up? You're all idiots. Shut the hell up. And also, but that's not really it. That's not what annoyed me more than anything. That was just a catalyst that mushed in my brain that really did set things off. It was the fact that it was a crowded bus and all these school kids, a good portion of them were sitting down with their bags on the seat, on the extra seat that was next to them. And I shouldn't be angry about that, but I became an old man and went, oh, but I didn't say anything. I just went, and what is the point of just standing in the stairway? There's a stairway on the bus, and this stupid kid decided to just stand there. And they knew, as an adult, I go in and I go, right, there's no seats here. I'm going to go upstairs to see if there's seats upstairs. Why didn't this little child think about that?
There's no respect anymore.
No respect
for
for
the
their
stairwell.
elders, and they're too stupid to realize that they don't need to stand in the staircase. How dare they? And what is the bus driver doing anyway? Why can't the bus driver shout at them? Why didn't I do that as well? So that was my old man complaint about the bus.
Do you need a hug, Alex?
That would be nice. Thank you.
Oh,
A hug would be nice. A hug would be
oh,
nice. Join us, will you, guys? And we'll see you all again soon. Same Smart Arts time. Same Smart Arts channel. Yeah, that would be nice. Bye, guys.
adieu.